Friends, welcome this series lectures of design machine elements. So today we are going to discuss on the design the knuckle joints against the static load conditions. So in that lectures we are study the different elements which are present in the knuckle joints and find out the stresses occurs in these elements based on the applied load. The objective of this today's lecture is study the various failure of element based on the external loads, and the outcome of these lectures. After complete the lecture, students are able to design the knuckle joints for the various applications. So basically knuckle joints are present in the three elements. This violet color is indicate the eye of this knuckle, then the red color is indicate the pin, and the yellow colors indicate the fork. So this basic three element is present for the knuckle joints, and by using the pin you can join these two elements like as the fork and the eye by using the pin, and the end of this knuckle joint and this fork and the pin will be defined based on the various applications. So here in this sketch, this end of this eye and the end of this fork is in the circular natures, but maybe this end is vary based on the applications. The cross section of this end will be vary based on the different applications. So knuckle joint, what is the knuckle joint? Knuckle joint is used to connect two rods whose axis either coincides or intersect and lie in one plane. The knuckle joint is used to transmit axial tensile force. The construction of this joint permits the limited angular movement between the rod about the axis of the pin. So it's very important. In the quarter joints, there is the restriction is present between the angular moments, but for the knuckle joints, it's permit the limited angular moments between about the pin. This type of joint is popular in the machines and the various structures. So typical applications of the knuckle joints is present here. First, suppose the joint between the tie bars in the roof trusses, even the joints between the link of the suspension bridge and joint between the links of the bicycles. So in details, so various application is present in terms of the video.
Joint is connected with the tractor housing. So it's a PTO, power take output shafts of the tractor, and is a housing of the tractors, and there's a number of holes present for connect the fork of with these tractors, and these are the holes for insert the circular cross section pin between these two holes for join the eye. So is a circular cross section pin is present and it is inserted between these two holes. At the end of this pin, the one hole is present for permit the lock the motions of that the pin, and is a total fork is connected with the tractor housing by using the number of holes. Here the 4 hole is used for this fork for connect this with the housing this two side, and the another 2 holes are the 2 pin is present at the another sides. So total 4 is required for connect this fork with the tractor house. This is a typical top view of this fork. Is it in different natures, and is a front view of this fork. The 2 hole is present top side and the bottom side of that the forks. So then how to join the trolley with that fork? So here for the trolley, the end of this element is connected with the eye. The solid circular bar is present, and at this bar the circular bar is again welded at this sections, and the end of this bar the spring and then the threaded part is present, and you can use this nut for lock this eye. Between this solid bar there is one hole is present, and we are going to use this pin for lock the eye and the fork. This is another typical example is present for the again tractors. So here the fork is present in the different cross sections, and the different element is attached with the end of the fork. The between that the pin is present like as. So means The function of the knuckle joint is same, but the crossing will be different. This is again another example is present. See the nature of the fork and the eye. The fork is different in the cross sections. Eye is also present in the different cross sections. This two hole is present for insert the pin between the fork and the eye. So this type of the pin, fork and the eye. So various example is present.
So here we observe the various different cross section is present for the knuckle joints without disturbing the functions. The application of the knuckle joint is achieved, but the end of the eye and the end of the fork is vary depends on the various applications. This application is given. So this end is circular in nature. The eye is in the difference. So is the typical applications for joint the tractors and the trolley. So is the eye and is the fork. Then is for the another applications, then is again used for the plug. These are three applications for the plugs. So is the fork is different in the natures, so it's the eye. So here the fork is again different, the cross section of the fork is different, eye is different, the spin is present. Then in this case again the fork is like as the channel, and between that the pin is present. So then, so these are the popular applications present in automobile. So is the braking systems for the two wheelers. So this system is called as the fork, and the pin and the hole is present inside the pin is called as the eye of that the knuckle joint. So the typical example is used for braking systems for the two wheeler system. Then the mounting of the shock absorbers for the two wheelers as well as the four wheelers. So by using the knuckle joints, the mounting is present for the shock absorbers. This bottom surface is called as the fork of these joints. Then the end of the shock absorber is called as the eye of the shock absorbers, and this bolt is called as the pin about that the knuckle joints. Then is a popular examples about the knuckle joints for the goggle and the spec. When you twist this end about the pin, then it's work like as a knuckle joints. So is the end piece is a fixed with that frame of this goggle, and is a flexible temple. It is used for lock and unlock the spec. So about this pin, it's work like as a knuckle joints. Is a simple examples for the spec and the goggles for the knuckle joints. So then we are coming on the actual topic, how to define the knuckle joints and what are the stresses present in the knuckle. So knuckle joints offer the various advantages used in the number of applications. The joint isn't simple to design and manufactures because only three elements is present, like as the eye, pin and the fork. There are the few parts in the knuckle joints which reduces the cost and improve the reliability. Then the assembly or the dismantling of the parts of a knuckle joint is quick and simple. The assembly consists of the inserting the eye of one rod inside the fork of the other rod and putting the pin in their common hole, and finally putting the split pin to hold the pin. Dismantling consists of the removing the split pin and taking the pin out of the eye and the fork. These are the very simple constructions, and the simple assembly and disassembly method is present for the knuckle joint. Therefore, it is widely used in the industrial as well as the structural applications for join the two members and permit the relative angular motions between these two rods and the two supports. For the purpose of the stress analysis of the knuckle joints, the various assumption is required, and this assumption based on the force shown on the pin and the force shown on the eye and the fork are equal, and opposite reactions of forces acting on the fork end as well as the eye end. In order to find out the various dimensions of the parts of the knuckle joints, the failure in different parts and at different cross sections are considered. The rods are subjected to the axial tensile forces. Then another, the effect of stress concentrations due to the hole is neglected. The two hole is present for the pin as well as the fork. So we are going to neglect the stress concentrations. The force is uniformly distributed in various parts. These are the various assumption is present for the find out the stress analysis of the knuckle joints. So in details, initially we are apply the load on the individual components based on the free body diagram and find out the stresses, either find out the cross sectional area of that elements and against the applied load and the stresses present in the elements. Knuckle joints, either you can use this for the some load carrying capacity. Then the first find out the tensile failures of the eye and the rod. So is the eye and this end. So here we are assume is a circular cross section is present, is a circular bar is connected with the eye, and if we apply the forces on this end rod of the fork, either the eye, then due to this tensile forces, its failure occurs at this cross sections, and our aim is to find out the area of that the cross section is pi by 4 into capital D square. Capital D indicate the diameter of this end rod. So based on that, you can find out the tensile stresses. Sigma T is equal to applied forces divided by the cross section area. Then the tensile failure of the eye. When you are going to insert the pin between the eye and the fork and apply the forces, so here the minimum cross section area is area present at this plane, and maybe the failure occur at the minimum cross section area. This red colors indicate the area where the tensile failures occurs. Our aim is to find out that the area. So here D is the small diameter of the pin, then capital D suffix O is called as the diameter, outside diameter of the pin, and B is the total width of that the eye. So based on that, you can find out the area. So the cross section area of this is B into bracket diameter of the outside diameter of the eye minus diameter of the pin. So is the cross section area. So based on that, you can find out the tensile stress. Sigma T is equal to force divided by the cross section area. Then the shear failures present in the eye based on the applied stresses, and the shear failures occur at the parallel above that the applied forces, and is present at the two sections, topmost side and the bottommost side of the pin. So you can find out the cross section area, and this cross section area is depends on the diameter of the eye and the pin diameter and the width of the eye. So the typical cross section area is this B into DO minus D divided by 2 bracket complete is for the one surface, and for the two surface you can multiply the 2. Then you can find out the shear failure. Tau is equal to force applied per cross section area. So you can use this and find out the shear failure in this eye. Then due to that tensile forces, the crushing failure is also present in the end of this eye, where the pin is directly contact with the surface of that the eye, and here the maximum crushing stresses or the compressive stresses is acting due to that surfaces, and you can find out the cross section area. So here again the cross section area is B is a width of that the eye, and D is the diameter of pin. By using that, you can find out the sigma C is the crushing stress. Sigma C is equal to force per cross section area. So is a P divided by B into D. Then we are coming on the how to design the pin. So here when you apply the forces on that the knuckle joints, the pin is present for between the eye and the fork, and it will be failed due to the shear as well as it is bent due to the bending. So is initial is the shear failures occur in the pin. So this middle portion of this pin is present in the eye, and the outer part of this pin is present in the fork. So due to that, what will happen? The forces present in this way is a free body diagram of that the pin, and typically this pin is failed at the two different cross sections, and the cross section area of that failure is pi by 4 d square is for the one surface, and another is again pi by 4 into the d square for the other surface. So the total area is pi divided by 2 into d square is the cross section area. So by using that, you can find out the diameter of the pin, either you can check the dimension of this pin is sufficient for the shear stresses. The equation is tau is equal to force per area. Then the bending failure of the pin is again occurs like as the quarter joints. Then again this is a UDL and the UL is present on the pin due to the different cross sections of the eye as well as the hole. We can draw the free body diagram. This indicates the UL and above part is indicated the UDL. So by using the strength of material, again you can find out the some dimension. We know the sigma B is equal to MBY divided by I raised to 4. So by using that equations, you can find out the maximum bending stresses occur in the pin and find out the dimension of the pin against the avoid the bending failures. So in this way, you can find out the bending failure of the pin. Then the crushing failure is also present in the pin because the surface of this pin is always in contact with the surface of the eye. So maybe the pin is failed against the crushing failure. So you can find out this total area which is present in the pin, and this area is nothing but the B into D. So means the crushing failure is present in the pin based on the sigma C is equal to force divided by B into D. B is the width of the pin, width of the eye, and is the diameter of the pin. So then tensile failure present in the fork. The fork is subjected to the tensile stresses as shown in this figure. When you apply the forces on that fork, where the minimum cross section area is present at the typical cross section area, the failures occur in that the fork. So this red zone is indicate the failures occur in that the fork. So there is a double because this fork is present this side and the another side. The two fork is present for this, and you can insert the eye and the pin between them. So means this red colors is indicate the cross sectional area is fail against the tensile failure. So you can find out the cross sectional area. So it is the two from this sides and two from the another side. So here A is the thickness of the fork, then D is the diameter of the pin, and D suffix O is the outer diameter of the collar of the fork. So based on that, you can find out the cross sectional area. Total cross sectional area is nothing but the twice A in bracket DO minus D. So by using that, you can find out the outer diameter of the fork, either the thickness of the fork, by using the equation sigma T is equal to force divided by twice A in bracket DO minus D. Then the fork is subjected to the double shear failure. So as shown in figure, again the shear failures occur in the fork where the diameter of the pin is present, and it is present at the two planes, upper plane and the lower plane of that the pin, and here the typical fork cross sectional area is present for the shear failure. So here again A is the thickness of the fork, D is the diameter of the pin, and DO is the outer diameter of the fork collar. So you can find out the shear area for the one side for one end, and is equal to in bracket DO minus D divided by 2 bracket complete into A. So is for the one side, and for the total area for the both side is nothing but the twice A in bracket DO minus D. So in this way you can find out the dimensions of this fork based on the shear failure, and is the tau is equal to P divided by twice A in bracket DO minus D. Then the crushing failures present in the fork based on the applied loads. So this green color is indicate the crushing failure area. Here again the pin is contact with this fork end, and the area is A into D for one side, and another side again A into the D. So the total crushing area is a twice A into D. So A is the thickness of the fork, D is the diameter of the pin. So you can find out the sigma C is equal to force, applied force divided by twice A into the D. So in this way you can find out the various dimensions of the pin, various dimensions of the fork, various dimensions of the eye, and you can put again these dimensions in that equation and check the stresses present in the permissible limit. If the stresses is not present in the permissible limit, you can modify the dimension. This is a typical one example is given for the knuckle joints, but in different application which are already shown in our lectures, the cross section of the fork, the cross section of the eye is different in various applications. So you can use these applications, use your own notations and find out the cross sectional area. So in details, the basic procedure is present for determine the dimensions of the knuckle joints for the various applications based on your given notations and the given applications. So initially you can find out the dimensions of the supports which are connected with the eye and the fork of the knuckle joints. So in these steps we are assumed that the rod is connected with the eye and the fork of the knuckles, and based on that we are find out the dimension of the rod by using the tensile stress equation. Sigma t is nothing but the force per unit cross section area. So here you can rearrange that equation in terms of the d, and d is equal to under root of 4p divided by pi into sigma t. Then you can find out the enlarged diameter of the each rod by empirical relation which is connected with the rod with the eye, rod with the fork, and here the notation is given the d1 is the enlarged diameter of the end rod connected with the eye and the forks, and d1 is equal to 1.1 times d. Then you can find out the dimensions of A and B by the empirical relations, and A and B, these are the dimension. A is nothing but the thickness, either the width of the fork end, and B is the width of the eye. So you can find out the dimensions based on the diameter of the rod, and in terms of A is equal to 0.75 d and the B is equal to 1.25 times d. Then calculate the diameter of the pin. So here in the pin, the two types of the failure is present, shear failure and the bending failure. Even the crushing failure is also present, but the crushing failure is nothing but the sigma t, tensile failure. So we are neglect the crushing stresses in that conditions, and we are find out the dimension based on only shear failure and the bending failure. So here you can use the maximum dimensions for that the pin, and based on the shear failure you can find out the diameter of the pin is equal to under root of 2p divided by pi t. So is the equation. The shear stress is equal to force per cross section area. Then the bending stress equation is there. D is equal to 3 under root of 32 divided by pi sigma b into p divided by 2 in bracket b divided by 4 plus a divided by 3 bracket complete. So from these two equation you can use the maximum value for the pin, means the pin is safe against the shear and the bending failure. Then you can finally find out the dimensions of the DO and D1s. DO and D1, these are the diameter of the DO is the diameter of the fork collar, and the D1 is the diameter of the outside diameter of the eye by using the empirical relations. The outside diameter of the fork is nothing but the 2 times d, and outside diameter of the eye is nothing but the d1 is equal to 1.5 times d. Then check the stresses which are present in the eye, like as the tensile stress, crushing stress against the failures, and find out that the stresses is safe or the unsafe against that the load conditions. So initial stresses you can find out based on the material property and the factor of safety is given. These are the maximum permissible stresses present in that the materials. So you can find out the stresses, and if this calculated stresses is greater than the permissible stresses, then you can say this dimension is unsafe. Either if the stresses is maximum than the stresses is minimum than the permissible stresses, then you can say this dimension is safe. So by using that you can find out the tensile stresses in the eye. Sigma t is equal to p divided by b in bracket do minus d. Then crushing stresses is nothing but p divided by b into the d. The p is the tensile forces. Then tau is equal to p divided by b in bracket do minus d. So in this way you can find out the stresses present in that the eye based on the applied load and the calculated dimensions. Then check the stresses which are present in the fork based on the given dimensions. If the stresses is maximum than the permissible stresses, then you can say these are the unsafe, and if the stresses is less than the permissible stresses, then you can say the dimension is safe. So here in the eye, the fork, in the fork, sigma t is equal to p divided by twice a in bracket do minus d, and crushing stresses is equal to nothing but the p divided by 2 times ad, and the shear stresses is nothing but the p divided by 2 times a in bracket do minus d. So in this way you can find out the dimensions of that the knuckle joints. Either you can find out the stresses based on the calculated dimensions, and compare the stresses with the permissible stresses and check the dimensions is safe or the unsafe. So, the typical notation is given for the knuckle joints, but in various applications, the cross sections of the knuckle joint is different. Maybe the rectangular, maybe the square, maybe the trapezoidal, maybe the elliptical. The different end is connected, and based on the application and based on that the end cross section, you can find out the dimensions and check the dimension is safe or the unsafe against that load conditions. So here simple short question answer sessions for the students and the exercise. The student maybe solve these examples, these questions. What is the use of the knuckle joints? Then what are the different failure presents in the knuckle joints? Knuckle joint is used in the various applications, and we know the why the knuckle joint is used for that applications. Even we have studied the different type of the failure present in the three elements eye, pin, and the pore of the knuckle joints. Thank you.